Hi, this is Kelly Shibari with Hot Movies for Her, and this is 6.9 Questions with
Bianca Stone.
Bianca Stone wearing a really hot t-shirt.
Made by Up and Coming Magazine, Canada's finest sex mag out there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank
Super,
you.
super hot. Where can they find one? Can they get it online? Or?
Yeah, just search Up and Coming Magazine, Canada.
Like Up and Coming magazine?
Yeah,
okay,
check
cool.
it out. Yeah, awesome magazine.
So, Bianca, I've seen a lot of your stuff. It's super hot. You are everybody's favorite hairy girl.
Thank you.
You're all covered up so I can't see any of it. So how'd you get into the business?
Well, I got into the business in 2009 when I was a young person living in Santa Cruz, California. My family in the Midwest had cut me off from support financially, and I was on my own in the world. And rather than moving back to the cold Midwest town I came from, I wanted to make a life for myself in California, and found the opportunity to do a shoot and did my first shoot and loved the work.
So did anybody get you into the business? Somebody introduce you?
Yeah, you know, my introduction into the business was a little bit different because I was a hairy girl, and the way it works is in Santa Cruz we were all just going on the Craigslist adult section looking for work. I don't know if y'all remember the good old days of Craigslist adult.
Actually, Wolf Hudson and I were talking about it earlier. That's how he got into the business, was on Craigslist.
Totally a great harm reduction resource, Craigslist Adult. It's too unfortunate that it has been shut down by the right wing. But that's how I got in. Was a friend was actually Harry and was seeing some ads posted in Santa Cruz by producers in LA who had heard there was an abundance of hot, hairy young women in Santa Cruz, California. So they were sending photographers up almost every weekend in the Santa Cruz area to shoot the lots of hairy women that live there, and it was a really fun time. A lot of the punk rock women of Santa Cruz, we were all shooting hairy porn, living the good anarchy lifestyle.
And you're totally like the hairy porn icon these days. Like you're like the porn star. Like everybody goes hairy porn, they go Bianca Stone. So,
yeah.
And so if you were not doing this, what do you think you'd be doing?
Well, that's actually interesting. Before I fully answer that question, I think why people would know about hairy porn today and my work is because I stopped getting hairy porn work over a year ago because I became too alternative and I looked too much like an alt girl. And a lot of the major hairy sites at that time, which were around, didn't have space for hairy girls like me. So once I started getting more heavily tattooed or more my hair funky, or actually came out with having like a more real and genuine personality that was more freaky deaky, the sites didn't want me around. But that's when I decided to reach out to other markets and other companies, and I've been really excited and really grateful to be the first hairy girl to shoot for many companies that usually wouldn't take a chance on a kid like me, you know, a performer like me with full body hair, but they liked what I was about, they liked my message, and they liked my personality. And for me that was a really big moment in my career of like, yeah, you can be yourself, you can be who you want to be, and you gotta just find your place.
So even if you weren't doing like hairy porn, you'd probably be doing some sort of hairy art.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't hairy, I love the adult industry. I love sex work. I'm a career sex worker. I do multiple forms of sex work besides adult. I love fetish. I love kink. So I think if I wasn't doing you know, adult actress work, I'd probably be focusing a lot on my career as a dominatrix or a fetish service provider, or other forms of sex work I do. I would probably just make that my main jam. But then I'm also really curious about being a promoter. I like to do public relations for the sex worker rights group I'm a part of, so activism and PR and promotional work. Sometimes I do promotion for DJs and musicians in Oakland. I started my own warehouse venue, so I've always been in the arts community of one kind or another, so I'm sure I would just be more a part of the entertainment business in the way I've done so. So.
Very cool. So you've been in the business, what, 3 years, right?
Yeah, a little over 3 years now.
What's the funniest thing that's happened to you on set?
Oh my gosh, funniest thing to happen to me on set. Oh God, there's so many.
I know, they all end up on like the editing room floor and nobody really gets to see them.
I think the funniest thing to happen to me on set, well, a lot of the hairy girl shoots I do for naughtynatural.com with my friend Miss Nikki Silver, who is another hairy queen icon. We like to do naughty shoots sometimes around where we can get away with it. So sometimes we'll take naughty photos in her car, when we're out and about. Maybe I shouldn't be sharing this, but I think some fun times are when me and Miss Silver are running around the Bay Area making naughty content of each other. The funniest part is when, you know, like a group of over 18 but young men have walked by us in a car taking photos of our hairy bush in a parking lot together, and them just being like first blown away that there's women just taking photos of up their skirts in the car with the door open, and then second that they see big flowing bushes coming out of those upskirt shots. So that is fun, always seeing their expressions. So
awesome.
There's a lot of funny things that have happened on set. Nothing too crazy other than me just being caught for being a pervert or something. So
And there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, totally.
So from a professional pervert such as yourself, do you have any bits of advice for people who are maybe a little shy, maybe they don't know how to communicate with each other? What's the best way to kind of get out there?
I guess the best, I mean, it's cliche to say, but believing in yourself, actually, to be honest, challenging yourself, stepping up, asking for what you need. You know, we're not all perfectly socially groomed creatures, and there's a learning curve to get to where you want to be and how you interact socially, romantically, intimately with the people around you. And I think what's really cool is just being upfront with where you're at. So if you're meeting someone new for the first time and you're interested in them, but you have things you're insecure about, just be upfront. Say, hey, you know, it's been a while since I have been in a sexual relationship with someone. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm relearning how to adjust in the ropes of, you know, the art of flirtation again. And I think just being honest with where you're at, but not apologizing, you know? Be who you are without apology. And I think that level of transparency to others is really attractive because it shows that you're making yourself vulnerable, and I think people respect and honor that vulnerability. So genuinity, being honest, and don't be hard on yourself. We're all works in progress. So,
what is probably like the biggest misconception? I mean, you said that you're in sex work and you do that stuff in front and behind the camera, in private and all that. What is the biggest misconception about sex workers, do you think?
That we're just party floozies, which is nothing wrong with that. I love a good party. I love the party world. I love the party scene, and I wish party culture was less stigmatized. But when you're female assigned, or you're a woman, or you're a young woman, and you're doing a line of work that's very stigmatized and judged, and there's slut shaming, you know, if you do like to party and you do sex work, you can be written off as just being a party floozy. And, you know, people think we don't work. People don't recognize our work as being legitimate labor because sex economy is just not, you know, seen that way, and historically women's labor or more feminized labor has not been historically recognized as legit labor. A common thing I get from people who are interested in becoming sex workers or have toyed with the idea but may not be so sensitive or done their homework will commonly say to me, oh, I would love to be a sex worker and do what you do because I don't want to work very hard and I want to make a lot of money. And I tell them, well, when you figure out how to do that, please let me know.
Right.
So, I mean, I like to party and go dancing, but I'm, you know, a hardworking woman, and I think a lot of my colleagues and coworkers in the industry will agree that just because you do sex work and you might have a certain kind of social life doesn't mean that you're not a hardworking person and that you're building your own career for yourself. And this work does take a lot of effort and focus and energy. So
absolutely. So I have one last question from you, Bianca Stone, from the Institute for Vagina Glitter Research.
That's an inside joke I have with Miss Lorelei Lee from Makeup One Day at Kink that we thought we should start.
That's a really cool institute. I love it. What makes you a feminist?
What makes me a feminist? You know, that's a really good question because I came into feminist movement when I moved to Santa Cruz a few years back. I got into radical politics, anarchist politics, politics of the far left. A while ago, you know, when I was probably like 19, I got introduced to that. And to me, what feminism is like a tool that I could add to my toolbox, right? It is, we all have these emotional toolbox in life, and as we grow older, we're looking for more tools to add to our toolbox to make it through life. And for me, feminism is one of those tools I can pick up. maybe I should say it's more of a lens. It's a lens that I can pick up and view the world through. So sometimes I want to pick up my queer lens, you know, sometimes I want to pick up this kind of lens, this kind of lens. And for me, feminist theory, feminist movement, feminist praxis, that's a tool in my toolbox. That is a lens that I can see the world through to help me better perceive what's around me in a way of where I can see myself, I can see others in a world free of oppression. So to me, a feminist is somebody who is, you know, wants to see the abolition of gender oppression. I'm a feminist I'm an abolitionist, you know. I want to see the end of gender oppression for all people. You know, people always say, oh, I don't think I can identify as a feminist. I have problems with that word because it's about women. But you know what? Marxism is called Marxism because a guy named Marx wrote it. Mm-hmm. Feminism is called feminism because back in the day, a bunch of women and femme people thought of this stuff. So, you know, let's not get too hung up on labels, let's not get too hung up on identity, but let's look at the heart of it, and that's we need to change the oppression of gendered wage slavery in this system. And for me, feminism gives me an analysis and a tool to approach solving those problems.
That is very, very concise.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bianca Stone. This is Kelly Shibari for Hot Movies for Her, and I think we do see some of your films on our site. So
yeah, totally.
People can go to Hot Movies for Her and do a search for Bianca Stone, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find tons of your stuff. And thank you so much.
Yeah, check out Harry Kink, launching soon. I'm sure I'll be posting on Hot Movies for Her. Check it out. It'll be great. The only place where you can see hot, hairy, kinky people on the net.
Very cool. Thank you so much.